All right, hi guys. I'm your host, Ashlyn Good. Welcome to the Together Live Pod. I'm here with my co-host as well.
Hi guys, my name is James. You know how we do it on the show where we create authentic connections.
All right, so what's our topic for today?
Exactly. Today we're going to be talking about something amazing. I'm sure you're eager to know what we want to talk about, right? Okay, I'll spill. Why is dating in Canada not working?
All right, and we brought our esteemed panel of singles to discuss it with us. So I would like to do a little run around. Could you please introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself as well.
My name is Shubham. I live in North York, Toronto, and I'm a teacher for little kids. And I love to do things that people don't do on usual life. Like I'm planning for skydiving, and I go out, I rock climb. That's it. And I woke up. Thank you.
Are you a weirdo?
What do you mean? He lives an adventurous life,
He
guys.
doesn't like to do what people do, right?
As he should. You would walk the path less traveled. Come on now. And you?
Hi everyone, my name is Christina. I'm a financial advisor. Right now, I am also fostering some puppies to keep my heart nice and soft and alive.
No, so
And I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Oh, thank you, thank you. What about you, though?
Hi, I'm Kata. I'm a professional yapper. So I do enjoy debates and talking about, the topic that will go on forever and ever, love. So that's what I'm here to do.
Hi guys, I'm Ibra. I'm a photographer and I definitely don't climb rocks.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about, obviously, the hot topic, why doesn't dating work? Well, it does work. If you use our matchmaking site, Togetha. Also, if you join the live show, we can actually help you with these problems. But today we're not here for that, so we're going to discuss these problems. So I'm going to just jump right into it. So are people struggling to commit because they think someone better is like one swipe away? In other words, like, have you guys ever kept anybody around as a placeholder while waiting for the next person to come?
Probably. I think everybody does that, right? At some point.
Everybody. There's not one good soul out here.
I've got something to say about that. Have you guys ever heard about the term, some people are never satisfied or never fulfilled? Maybe it's something on the inside of that person that's always looking for the next thing because of the unfinished business within themselves for them to feel whole and satisfied, ready to commit, and also to say no to the things that will cause destruction in their lives. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's also a lot of things together that would impact that end result.
So they just got issues. In other words, you guys got to get mental help, is what she's saying.
Okay,
No, I'm
so-
playing.
so- so Christina,
go
about
ahead.
daddy or mommy.
Are you saying you encourage having options like plan B, plan
Well,
C?
first of all, there are always options. Life is ever changing. Even if you think you're going to be with this person forever, you have no idea when and how long forever even is and what the new redirection of life would be, right? So I'm not saying always have your options open, but even if your partner is no longer there, I've seen someone just snap their fingers after years of marriage and said, well, I'm not going to be sad forever. I'm like, wow. And then someone else said, 3 Christmas in, we're still crying over our dad and our husband. So it all depends on who that person is, what their outlook and their ability to navigate and change would be.
That's an interesting take, actually. I want to hear from this side of the couch. Y'all a little quiet over there.
I don't think I've ever used someone as a placeholder. I kind of like piggyback off what you were saying. I think in the moment, I thought this was someone I would want to spend my life with. But as I grew as a person, you kind of outgrow people and you outgrow circumstances. So in looking back in hindsight, maybe they were a placeholder for that season. But do men do that as well? Yeah, I think so. Because sometimes you're just comfortable and that person makes it easier to be with than to challenge you. So you stay in that comfort zone. I think that's what placeholder is someone who's comfortable.
That's a
If
big
you're not
one.
willing to grow or challenge yourself, then you'll keep that person there until maybe one day you get up and say, okay, I want to better myself. And then eventually you outgrow that person. So I don't know if placeholder is a word to use because I think, as she said, we grow as people. And sometimes you outgrow your partner.
I feel like sometimes like it depends like circumstances, you know what I mean? Like for instance, like you could be dating somebody and like your future plans don't align, you know, like you could just try and like talk to other people and trying to see if this is gonna go somewhere or not, like something like that. So I feel like it's okay to like maybe have somebody you can fall back to. I don't know, bro.
So do you guys not believe in the one? That's the one right now. So is there not the one? Because we can outgrow, and that's understandable. Everybody outgrows certain things, you know? But is it possible to grow with that person?
While we're talking about outgrowing your partner, I think it's important for me to bring my next question in. So, is it a woman who earns more than her partner? Will she submit to that person? Do you get my question?
Yes.
Right.
And yes, because it's not just about just the money factor that shows masculinity and shows protection, safety, and being held. Yes, it's a part of it, but life also has ups and downs. And I've been in a position where it's flowing really well, and I've been in a position where it's not flowing really well. And my desire for my person's still there because I understand that it's gonna be this way, but we know where we're heading. And that's been in marriage, even outside of marriage. It's the same ups and downs. You know, unless you're dating a 1%er, then the ups and downs are different then. It's not going to be monetary. And that's the question right now.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the person you are with. Like if that person is not really into you or into your money, then if that person is into money, then they're not gonna be with you. If you are going up and downs, and they will definitely gonna leave you. But I think if that person is into you and believe in you that you can do something in future, they're gonna be with you. If you're going through something or like financially or like in any way, right?
Can you date a lady who earns 5 times more than you? And
Why
be
not?
comfortable?
I think that will be a pleasure.
No, you know why? Because some men find it very hard to do. You know, they believe earning more gives them the control, in quote, you know, to lead.
Because that's where the most value is placed. Even if you look at our society today, what has the most value? Really and truly, if we look at it. I'm sorry to say this, but I don't think anyone else would say it. Money is a sensitive topic, and I hold the mic for this one. Money. A lot of it is status, a lot of it is money, and what that money can bring about. Yes? No?
Yeah,
Am I
That's
the
true,
only one?
that's true, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
100%. But I think, as you said, there are some dynamics. There are many marriages where the woman is the provider and the dad is more in the home, and it works for them because could be a cultural thing. We have to look at that too, because from culture to culture, how we define what masculinity is may change. And I think in our culture, a lot of men are not comfortable being with a woman that out earns him because he already faced so many things of what it means to be a man versus other men in this world. It's more of an ego bruise, even more so being not financially stable as his counterpart, his partner. So I think that question, it will vary from couple to couple and from people to people. But I think the quiet part that is not said out loud is a lot of men feel more masculine when they are able to provide and protect. And for some women too, they can also use that as a tool as control, because let's not act as if women don't use money as control too if they have more power. So I think it just goes depending on the couple. But can I be with someone who earns less than me?
Way less.
Way less than me? No, I cannot. And this is why. Because for me, I was raised in a very traditional home. My dad was always the provider in the way I was brought up. And so I was also raised very traditional as what it means to be a woman. I feel my femininity comes out when a man is playing that role in my life. I know that if I took the control, and this is me, and I'm being transparent, if I was the one providing financially, I don't want to say emasculate him, but that naturally would come into play.
That is the
Because
problem.
I'm not
Right there is the
raised
problem.
Like that.
What's the
I'm not
problem?
raised like that,
What's
right?
the tea?
I like when most women, when they make a lot of money, they tend to disrespect their husbands or their partners, you know.
Ooh, how do
It's-
people feel about that? Because let's talk about it. Because I want to talk about even
coming
show.
from a place like where I'm from, like let's say the culture I grew up in, I barely saw women that made more money than their husbands, right? But like at some point when you started seeing people like women that made more money than their husbands from where I'm from, right, it started becoming a problem in the relationship,
Right.
right? Because like most African men love to be dominant, right?
Yeah.
They love to be in control. They love to be the seen as the guy, right? But like it bruises their ego and like their pride when their women make more money than them. It causes like lots of divorce rates, lots of abusive problems and stuff like that. But like I wouldn't blame it on the relationship. I just blame it on the man, because like in this part of the world, right, like it feels normal to be whatever. You can be broke, like you're still gonna find someone that's gonna stay with you regardless, right?
Yeah.
You can be whatever. But like back from where we're from, right, I don't think you really hold value if your person makes more money than you, like a woman makes more money than you. So like you have to say like two different words, like you have to see two different angles, right? Well, here there's stay-at-home husbands and all of that. They made it so normal, which I don't think should be normalized, right? So like if you're like talking about culture, I feel like most people that are from here will not understand the impact of like your woman making more money than you. So like that's just my own opinion about that.
And I'm just gonna add to that. I definitely can 100% see the difference in a man that has his shit together, if I could say that, versus a man who is still in his building stage. There's a different confidence that he brings to the table when he's financially secured. There's a different way he moves throughout the world. There's a different way he leads. And that's why for me, it's important. I don't need you to be a millionaire. I need you to be financially secured in your own self, in your own life, because I'm doing the same for myself. And so I don't want someone coming in feeling insecure, because that's another thing that plays into it. A man can start to feel insecure. Am I good enough to be with this person? What if she goes out there and meets someone who has more than me? Because realistically, a man knows this is a competitive world. So if his woman goes out and meets someone who brings the same thing he brings to the table but has more money than him, you know, it starts to create a lot of underlying issues. And so to take those already problems that we're going to have because relationships are complex and they're messy, I'd rather finances not be on the table.
Can I add to
Because
that?
it makes things more easier.
You just said in the building stage. I would bring it to the table that there's many different levels of the building stage, because after you acquire, let's say one business, and you do something else, a second, and when you're going into that third and fourth level, there's a different type of risk. And there's a different levels to building and acquiring. So if you're with someone that you might deem, let's say, established or successful at one level, that's not where he's stopping. And he's going to keep going depending on who this man is. And there's going to be multiple levels of climb and tumble and climb and tumble.
Yeah.
And that's where the relationship and the values of both people and who they are would be put to the test. And at that point, what if this guy needs to be working around the clock while you have a kid and is not available at that point? But the money's coming in, but he's gone because he needs to be gone.
More so speaking
right?
of like the entrepreneur businessman.
Well,
right?
if we're talking about people that have money, really and truly,
'cause
it's
that's
really
like
the build.
one
It's the business.
facet. Like financially secure doesn't mean the 1%ers. It
And-
doesn't mean the businessman.
And
doesn't
this
mean
is
the
what I'm saying. I'm
entrepreneur.
not talking about the 1%ers, because
Okay.
you said you needed to be with a guy that is established.
Yes.
So established on what level? And is he going to stay at this established place, or is the consequence of climbing, what if he drops back to bankruptcy because of the risks he took in his business? Would you be there in the 7 years while he can't
No, that's
borrow
what I'm saying.
money?
You're speaking of only the businessman. I don't think the only established version of a man
It's
is
not only a
businessman.
business owner can file bankruptcy, but what I'm trying to say is
No, because you're speaking on building.
Okay,
and
bring it
moving
on,
to the
bring
next
it on,
level.
bring it on,
Hold on,
bring it
now.
on. Bring it on.
you said you didn't want to be with the guy in his building stage. What I'm
No,
saying
what I
is,
mean, a
yeah.
building stage can be anything. You're just thinking of one caveat, one
Okay.
type of man, a businessman. You could think about an engineer. You
Right.
talk about a doctor. Buildings could be the stage of he's in medical school.
Right.
There's different types of building.
Right.
So I'm not
Levels
speaking
to this.
financial secure as the entrepreneur, the boss man, because a man can be financially secure in different types. He can be blue collar. He could be an entrepreneur. He could be an engineer. He could be a mechanic. When I said established, I said financially secure in himself. And I caveat that. Financially secure in himself, meaning that he's reached a stage in his life where he's not living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
He has savings. He has certain assets. There's certain things. So maybe for you, the established person is the businessman that's going to take on more businesses and more risk. That's one type, but there's so different types of men that could be successful in different light
when you
and
said the
different
building
realms.
stage, right? I just had a question for clarification for that, because there's multiple types of building.
Oh, wait, while we're on the building, hold on, because I want to hear this, but we're going to talk about building because I want to talk about a little bit of like struggle of, because this is what it's kind of aiming towards. We already talked about finances, but struggling with your partner, okay, there's financially, and usually finances flow into the emotional, sometimes even the physical aspect of everything. So since you guys are talking about building, do you believe, like, okay, considering the levels of that, do you believe in struggling with your partner, or in a sense that, like the building you're talking about,
Life,
would that be considered struggle, love?
life has struggle whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? It has struggle. So what are we gonna now think about is our tolerance level for how much we want to struggle? And what if me, the woman, is the person that is falling into some type of hardship? What if it's physical or whatever the case may be, and now that person's struggling to hold a home, hold the kids, hold the job, because I am not able to do my parts?
Okay,
and that
well,
person could be struggling.
It brings up my
Exactly.
question. Like you was talking about the other like building stage and like the person who is already stable, right? And if that person like faces a downfall, would you stay with that person?
That's what I was just about to ask. He done.
So-
You want here? This is your job.
Thank you.
When you speak of someone that is established, right? It's not just about money that made a person get to that place in their life. They have certain qualities, they have certain disciplines, they have certain things, ethics, attitudes that brought them to that stage. So that person, if you've been there already and you have that discipline, and we're not speaking of if you can develop addictions and stuff like that. I'm speaking of the person's qualities that brought them to that stage in their life. They can rebuild again, because that man, it's his qualities that brought him to that stage. It's not just a monetary value. No one becomes successful overnight. Some people
I think
off
I'll
luck,
disagree.
but
I'll
it
disagree
takes a
with that.
certain level of
What do you disagree
discipline and
with?
attitudes
I'll
to get to
disagree
that
with
stage
that,
in your
you know.
life.
Which
I believe some people never even had to work in their lives, and they're reaching to like half of us here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay,
So-
Inheritance,
nepotism, but
yeah.
I'm speaking of the person, because we're saying building stage, right?
Yeah.
So he's saying
It could be a Nepo
if-
baby and be building.
No, but I'm saying he's speaking of the everyday man. I'm not speaking of the outliers. There's always going to be outliers in every conversation. But I'm talking about that middle ground, someone who built from the ground up for themselves. And they got to a certain point in their life. He's asking if they go back down, would I stay with them? And I'm saying yes, because it took that person a certain level of mastery of self to get there. And I still believe that same person can do that again.
would you stay if they never got back to that point?
But what's causing that for them not to get back? There has to be something else.
So
It's
this
not
is the part of the
just-
struggle that I want to talk. A lot of people don't
And
understand.
what's the timeline for that? How
'Cause-
long do you set to say, okay, we just hit, let's say, a market crisis or whatever the case may be, and this is the
you
predicament.
can speak
How
more to
long-
that. That's your background, right? You know how long it takes for the economy
No, but I'm
to
asking you,
recover.
right? Because you're saying you would stay, and then she said, what if?
What if they never? Some people don't ever come back.
So how do you know how long? What if never?
Exactly.
Is? Like,
What's your
do you-
breaking?
your
Is there a
tolerance
breaking
level?
point? Is there a
Yes.
point? Because when people get married, till death do us part, through sickness and health, and
better or for worse.
for better for worse. So these are the things that you expect to get with somebody. You do this forever. You're supposed to, whether it's the struggle or you're going through this and that. Is there a breaking point? Like, let's say, okay, yeah, they lost whatever, even if it's not financially, maybe they're going through something emotionally,
Physically,
maybe something
right?
physical, like,
Yeah.
when people get accidents do happen as well.
Yeah.
So these are the different types of struggles a lot of people don't really mentally prepare themselves
Right.
for. So I want to talk about, okay, so what's really a breaking point? Like, let's say your partner ends up in a wheelchair bound forever. There's a lot of people that are not really willing to deal with that type of stuff.
Right.
But does your love, which will actually lead me into my next question while we're at it, is love enough to keep a relationship together? So when you guys are struggling and this and that, would love be enough? Let's say the wheelchair bound example. Is love enough to keep you there?
Well,
Is that
love in
something that
action.
tests, something that really tests your bounds?
Yeah.
Are you willing to really struggle, even if it means forever?
Well-
or would you like to find somebody else? Is there somebody else better for you?
It all depends on how the love shows up in that particular relationship, right? Because love is a word. Yes, we understand the word, what this love means. But then how does that translate to action between the two people, right? Yes, someone can say that I'm showing up to love you by just listening, and someone else can not even ask what your needs are, but just automatically know and what is to be expected, right? So it all depends on the closeness of the people, if they've ever had these conversations in the relationship to begin with, to talk about risk factors and the what ifs and all those little intricate things in between. Also, what I was saying about what does the love look like, it all depends on also the comfort level of these two people together, right? Because I've had a baby, and even though you are doing all of the things to make the baby, what is now your comfort level with other gross things that you're going to have to deal with that you need help with? You know what I'm saying? And so even if that man might want to help you, are you vulnerable enough to be in that position with him? And this could be also one of the ways, let's say, your love language, physical help in all of these areas, right? And the love could be expressed this way. And this could be an area where a lot of women would say, oh, wow, thank you for helping me. But because someone has a trauma in this area, this is now going to be a topic of explosion, when the guy was just coming in here to now express love language in a hard situation. So it all depends, again, on the woundedness of each individual, where they're at with that hurt, and how they're dealing with it as it shows up, touching the wounds that's not fully healed in their present life.
So it's something really that's more within. So when it comes to whether or not you love the person enough, it's really about how much, in other words, it's almost how much
You're
you
willing
love
to
yourself.
tolerate.
In other words, how much you're willing. Yeah, it's tolerance.
what
What
you're
kind of
willing to
relationship
tolerate.
we have with that person, right?
I mean, we believe like love should be unconditional, right? So like if you're like having like ifs and buts, that's conditional.
Yeah.
Because like God forbid something happens to my partner, I wouldn't leave because this person did this. I'll be thinking about like, would this person do the same for me? You know what I mean? So like I'll definitely be there because I believe it should be unconditional. But if you're leaving it because I lost my job or I just no, I don't think that is love though, because that's conditional already. You know, because like if I lose everything or whatever, like if you're staying, I mean you're trying to like figure out something else to like we could do something together. You can help me in any way you can. But if you're like giving me time to like, you better get back on your feet before, that's just conditional already. You don't love me.
Should love have any conditions?
No,
What are the limits?
I don't think there
No
should be
limits?
No.
I think when love like passes certain stage or like age level after 30s, I think both of the individuals need to plan
Like you're making
rest
a
of their
conscious
life.
decision to stay together.
Yeah, like
Things
growing
happen.
together, right?
Yeah, things happen.
And helping each other to like grow together and like always financially, like mentally or like physically, whatever you want to do. I think you both have to like contribute into each other's like and value the things you're doing. Also, like wanted to talk about the thing you were saying, like you would not date somebody who earns lesser than you, but it brings back to the same point. Like, would you like go back to the person if that person is like earning less after that like downfall? But you said you will definitely do that, but it's like diplomatic.
What you just said, I've experienced firsthand, right? When I met my ex,
Mm.
he out-earned me grossly.
Okay.
And during our 7-year relationship, he went through a lot of health problems. And I was there. So I think a lot of people can say, oh, I would stay with my partner if they've gone through this. I've been there. I've been 36 hours at the hospital, 8 surgeries, having to help my partner walk, feed him, all these things. My love did not waver in that moment because it was the same person who I first started dating in the beginning. But I want to add another layer to, if you say if love is enough, I don't think we would have made it out of that period without support. I think nowadays we think of marriage as 2 people and 2 individuals. And I think the reason why a lot of relationships in the past lasted was because of the support. We had a lot of support from his in-laws, my in-laws. I think when you start thinking about marriage as just 2 individuals instead of merging, because that's what marriage was back in the days. It was a merging of families. So if it was just us 2, as one person, you get tired. you get emotionally drained. You stop taking care of yourself because now you're taking care of someone else.
Right.
Life still goes on. You still have to work. The everyday mundane realities kick in. So I'm not speaking from a place of, oh, this is fantasy, I've lived it. So I'm going to add a caveat. Love is not enough. It's not enough. Sometimes you need a reminder from someone else on the outside as to why you guys got here in the first place. I think you need people who have gone through more than you to be that person ahead of you saying, we've been there, we've done that, and we've lasted 30, 40 years. You can't just rely on self because we are imperfect people. Not every day you're going to wake up and love your partner. Sometimes you're going to be like, why the hell did I choose this person? Right? So I'm going to say that what I don't see people talk about enough, for love to last, you need a real community of other people who also believe in marriage as a unity. And people that would say, it's just like if you have a kid, you need a village.
Yeah.
Marriage also needs a healthy village for you to get through those times. Because sometimes you can't afford therapy if you are in that situation. Not everyone can, but you need people who have been there, done that, to sit down with you guys and be like, you can get through this. I'm here for you to take that weight off your back. So I'm just going to just add that in because I haven't seen anyone talk about that.
Okay, quick question. Is it wrong to, how do I put this now? Okay, is it wrong to test your partner? To test the loyalty of your partner?
I think life has enough tests as it is. You know, if you're paying attention, we are all getting tested. But like I said, if you're opening your eyes and looking around, there's enough for you to see. And when you're asking questions, the answers are usually there if you choose to see them or not, right? Testing your partner. I mean, what are we, I guess?
Actually,
Test
I
your
didn't get the
partners.
question. Like,
What kind
how,
of test?
What kind of
What
test?
kind
Yeah,
of
what
test
kind of test?
would you give to your partner if you wanted to figure out if they were loyal
Like
or
set
not?
them up?
Yes, set them up.
Testing?
Let's say we're like this,
so
hypothetically
childish,
speaking,
bro.
right now. Yep.
I was like high
Okay.
school type
Childhood
of
is
thing.
the kingdom where nobody dies, so we're gonna have some fun right now.
When somebody's trying to see how real, how authentic the
So
you
guess
know,
what? If you've got a guy and you don't need to really set them up. There's enough women, honestly, flirting with your guy as is, and you get to see their response and also how they come back to you to know what's up. I don't really think we need
Honestly,
to be
there's girls that
testing
are out here making fake accounts and everything.
Ash, I've heard stories of girls asking their friends to hit up on their man on social
seen
media,
those.
to get evidence and
Yeah.
screenshots of his response and all of that.
These
You
are
know,
some
so-
strong women. That's all I can say. Kudos to y'all, because I could never. Some
So
things
whatever-
you just need to keep to yourself.
So have you ever been tested that way before?
Yeah, but like, that's a story for
Did you
another day.
pass or fail?
Hey, you see
People
like
wanna
I say I kind of failed, but like, like, hey, you grew already, you learned that you grew already, but like, I just don't think it makes sense testing your partner, but like, yeah.
Why doesn't it make sense? Okay,
Because some women literally pay, PIs
Wouldn't you wanna
to,
know?
follow up the guy and then find out certain information.
what's a healthier way
I don't
then?
think you need to do all of that. I tell people all the time, if you stay quiet enough, the person will tell on themselves. Like, are you listening? Are you paying attention to your partner? It's really not that difficult. I think a lot of people already know what their partner is doing. They just want to stay in fantasy. You don't have to go through all that. If you listen to your partner enough, trust me, eventually they slip up, male or female.